What is going on, guys? We are back for another episode of Pokemon Top 5s. This week we'll be covering the top 5 Elite Four members. So of course, as always, guys, this list is 100% opinionated. Oh my god, I am not able to talk right now. Yeah, this list is 100% opinionated. Obviously, with Elite Four, most of them are monotype, and so take that with a grain of salt as to what you think is the hardest typings, what you think is the hardest typings for, you know, the Pokemon that you have available to you in that point of the game. And of course, if you have a different top 5 list than me, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and while you're down there, comment what your top 5 list is. I said that in opposite order. I really don't know what I'm saying today. Oh my god. But without further ado, let us hop in to number 5. Alright, so at number 5 we have Lorelai, the first Elite Four member that you ever fight in any of the games. Lorelai specializes in Ice-type Pokemon, and we actually get to see her a little bit after in post-game as well. So Lorelai is super challenging. Right off the bat, she is like the perfect entry, right? She has a pretty bulky offensive team. Dugong, I guess, really isn't the most defensive, but I mean, it's fairly defensive for Gen 1. And then you have Jinx, which has a pretty decent special defense, and then Cloyster with a sky-high physical defense, Slowbro with a sky-high physical defense, and then Lapras, which is pretty bulky as well. And so basically what she does is she just tries to wear you down. Cloyster and Lapras are going to be her two hard hitters. Jinx is as well, but, you know, it's a Jinx. And then Dugong does what it can. So, yeah, I mean, the team, you know, there's elements here that are really good. Obviously, Jinx is able to set up the screens. Cloyster able to shell smash if it really had it. And Slowbro can Calm Mind up and be a threat. So she doesn't have that move pool, but, you know, thinking about her team from a more competitive standpoint, she absolutely would have a pretty decent team. And so that is why she is number 5 on the list for me. You get to see her a little bit outside, and she's actually one of the only Elite Four members that you really see interacting the world around you, and so and helping you out on your journey. And so for me, like, she's the perfect entry. So without further ado, let us hop in to number 4. Alright, so number 4 we have Marshall, the Elite Four member of Unova's Elite Four. He specializes in fighting type Pokemon, and so you already know that this boy has a Lucario for me. But he rocks out with Sock Throw, Mienshao, and Conkeldurr. Conkeldurr is actually his ace kind of deal. And the problem with Marshall and the problem with Unova is, unless you're playing on the challenge mode, they only have 4 Pokemon. And so it kind of makes it a little difficult to sit there and say that he's a real threat. So I went with this challenge mode team because that gave him 5 Pokemon to compete with everybody else. So you know, he has a pretty bulky throw. Conkeldurr is very powerful and something you need to worry about. Lucario obviously is the highest special attacking fighting type in the game, and Mienshao is incredibly fast. And so you sort of kind of have to think about the fact that, like, outside of psychic types, I mean, he's gonna blow through you. He's gonna punch holes in your team. He doesn't really have any way to stop psychic whatsoever, and so that's a bit of a problem. But you know, to me, just the Pokemon you have available to you, the fact that you need to prep so hard for Iris, and the fact that you need to really have, like, dragon types on you, you need to either have a dragon type of your own, or you need to have ice types. And so he fights you right before her, so he's blowing back your ice type if you get stuck putting your ice type out against Marshall. And so for me, that is why he is number 4. He's a great compliment to Iris. But let us hop in to number 3. Alright, so at number 3 we have Glacia. Speaking of ice types, Glacia is the ice type specialist in Generation 3. Now her team is kind of rough. I mean, it's Walrein super bulky, and then she rocks out with 2 Frost Glasses and 2 Glalie. One of her Glalies can Mega Evolve. So first thing that you notice is that she really only has 3 Pokemon, and she's doubling up, which, you know, inherently is kind of a problem. Although in Generation 3 there wasn't that many ice types, so you kind of give her a break, but the big thing about her team that makes her so difficult is she really likes to utilize the Snow Cloak ability. And so her whole team revolves around evasion. And so she has a double team and Snow Cloak on her one of her Glalies and both of her Frostlasses. And so her whole strategy is that she's gonna click Blizzard or Ice Beam, and she's just gonna sit there and try to dodge all your hits and hit you back. That's really her strategy. And so she's really the first trainer that I look at on this list and go, she can sweep you if she gets set up. She definitely has the ability to sweep you if she gets set up. I can't really say the same thing about Lorelai, and I can't really say the same thing about Marshall in terms of what their in-game move set is, but Glacia's in-game moveset can. And so this is kind of the distinction of the list where I kind of sort of flip the switch and I go, okay, like, you're now a threat. You're now a very big threat. And so that is why she's number 3 for me. But let us move on to number 2. Alright, so at number 2 we have Drake, another one of Hoenn's Elite Four. For me, you know, I think maybe Hoenn and Kanto have a little bit of nostalgia for me, but it is what it is, it'd be how it be. But, I mean, Drake's team is actually probably one of the best Elite Four teams out there. You have an Altaria with Dragon Dance. You have a Flygon that sets up Sandstorm. You have a Swift Swim Kingdra, slash, what's the ability? What's the ability? Oh my god. Is it Sniper? Sniper, yeah. So Sniper, so you can be a Critdra, or you can be a rain one. You have he has 2 Flygons, and then he has a Salamence, which of course in the newer games can Mega Evolve. And so you're dealing with a Mega Salamence, and right off the bat, that's the pseudo-legendary of the region. Intimidate, and then Aerialate. So he's absolutely crushing you. And then he has 2 Flygons, so, I mean, he has 4 Pokemon quad weak to Ice, so, I mean, like I said before, there are flaws with it, but, I mean, Altaria Flygons, they all get Earthquake. So, you know, you can kind of, they all get Earthquake, so you kind of handle just standard flying issues if you're going to try to use Electro types. And then Altaria, Flygon, and Salamence can all get access to fire moves. And so they do have a way to handle them, they just don't have the greatest. And so, but for me, Drake, you know, he is basically the successor to Lance in my opinion. Now, I consider Lance to be a champion of a region, and so that's why I didn't put him on my list. But I think Lance maybe has a better team, but, you know, I considered Lance to be a champion because Red and Blue don't really fulfill their champion duties, and so when I was kind of making these lists, I sort of kind of just said, okay, Drake is kind of the version of Lance that is available. So without further ado though, let us hop in to number 1. Alright, so at number 1 we have Lucian, the Gen 4 Elite Four member just before Cynthia. He has a really underrated team. You know, everyone kind of looks at Girafarig and kind of laughs a little bit, but like, ignore the Girafarig for half a second. You have a Mr. Mime that's going to set up both Screen and Reflect, Light Screen and Reflect, and then actually still have a pretty decent special attack after that, and be able to go for Dazzling Gleams and be able to go for Psychics, Shadow Ball, that kind of thing. Already very good, right? Then you move on to Medicham. Pure Power, that's a threat. Then Alakazam, we already know that's a threat. And then Bronzong, which is able to set up Trick Room for itself, and then also can Light Screen Reflect, and then also on top of that, Slow Gyro Ball is going to hit a lot of fast Pokemon really hard, and then Psychic is obviously pretty good as well. And so for me, Lucian actually has the best team. Alakazam can sweep you, Medicham can sweep you, He has 2 Pokemon to set up Light Screen and Reflect, which kind of counteract his kind of frailer Psychic Pokemon. So to me, he actually has the best team for competitive play, and so that's why I rank him number 1. So without further ado, that is my top 5 Elite Four members. If you have a different list than me, of course, make sure to leave it in the comment section down below. I would love to hear your guys' list. And yeah, I mean, I'm gonna wrap it up here. So thanks everyone for watching. Click the video, subscribe if you really liked it, and I will see you guys in the next one.